Hello. So, lately something has been on my mind, and I think it's something that's been on a lot of people's minds as the new year begins, and maybe we are all connected by some kind of psychic unconsciousness, but it's reflected in conversations I've had with my friends in the hobby and with my student pals as well. So I think I can say with some certainty that this is something that we can all agree on. So it's like this. Sit back and enjoy. There is a wide variety of directions to take in this hobby. Much like life at large, one targets specific areas of enjoyment and improvement. We take on hobbies that reflect ourselves, our goals, and personalities. There are those who build armies, those who customize small forces, and those who place great amounts of time into single models. Hi there. Just to outline a few categories. And all of these people are miniature painters, or even you could call them artists. There are some people that say miniature painting is not art, but they don't paint models either, so I don't take their feelings as a rule. I understand the idea, but it does become an artistic expression at a certain point. The topic today is a question I am asked often on how I maintain focus, or synonymously, motivation. I think it's about staying interested. How you carry the same energy and continue to do what you're doing. It's all intertwined, but I keep enjoying what I do, and when people lose focus, they ask someone who appears focused, what's the secret? Well, let's get a little bit more unfocused about it first. The three people types I mentioned earlier are not the only ones. Some build scenery, cast their own models. Some people kit bash. If you don't know, kit bashing is a free-form approach to making a one-of-a-kind model. This could also be called a conversion, but I would say the term conversion more accurately applies to a simple modification, like swapping a single sword out for the twice as lethal double sword blade. But the idea here is that there is a hobby beneath the paint even, the sculpting side. The primordial ooze of imagination and tools creating over-muscled warriors. Or maybe you want to sculpt a set of cats. It is its very own skill set to modify and create artistically. Some focus on the world itself and create tables of scenery, much like the larger model train hobby. Crafting these play areas and display fields is not something everyone can do so well. There are many specializations, many areas of learning to visit. All of these things are worthy of being on display and behind the glass, but when I think of a glass cabinet, I think of one thing specifically. Behind that cabinet glass, you have the competitive or pro painter, as they are sometimes known. The greater world has its contests and awards, and the miniature hobby is no different. You can find a variety of competitions to approach online or in person, usually at a convention, like Adepticon, the world's largest wargaming event in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, formerly in Illinois, but through no action we've taken it from them. I'd highly recommend taking the trip to see the big show, but at that big show, large as it is, there are multiple painting contests. I've entered all of them and placed as well. The Resin Beast, put on by Creature Caster, Path of the Worthy from Atomic Mass Games, P3 Grandmaster from Privateer Press, and the Golden Demon, put on by Games Workshop. Why I bring that up is because in most endeavors of skill, there comes a time to push yourself past your limits and see what you are made from. We look up to the pros to set a standard of excellence. Michael Jordan comes to mind. Or maybe a more accurate comparison is the way I will look to how tournament games are played and reflect that in my own games. I don't plan on playing in a tournament soon, but I can trust those people who have played the game more than me have found more, have a more finely tuned view of the situation, and I can learn from observing. because after all, the more you're doing something, the more it leads to experimentation and creating new ideas, which opens the door to comparison. Healthy competition is healthy, but when the competitive spirit leads you to feel broken up about your fun on a weekly basis, you might want to consider where you first found a reason to begin and enjoy. Stop, check in with yourself, and ask, what the hell am I doing? Do I even like this? I feel like sometimes I am just carrying out what I perceive as a series of actions in a progression when I could have stopped at any enjoyable point. For example, you have the saying, build, paint, play. So when I'm playing and I start to have an existential crisis about what I've been doing with my life because I am that bored, I wonder why did I paint? I painted because I enjoy it for the simple act of what it is. Some people, looking at the Gundam community, just enjoy the building. So it's important to, I think, find your spiritual center of why you started the hobby and where you really find joy in your specific area, at least that specific area for the time being. I outlined a lot of different people to be earlier. There's a lot of choices to make, and when you engage with the world, hopefully you'll meet each type of person. Now it's up to you, how far you want to follow them or what type of person you want to be, where your true enjoyment lies, even though someone else deeply enjoys playing the gameplay may not be for you. Even though someone else deeply enjoys entering the Golden Demon, you might be happy with just your tabletop experiments or your weird Trench Crusade warband. The first key is finding the fun, and you have to ask this to yourself. This is a personal question. Everyone is going to have their own answer. So right now, ask yourself, what do I enjoy most about the hobby today? And there's the answer. So that is the first key. And like I said, your focus can change, and it should. But first of all, I think outlining a specific target is very necessary to maintaining some of that inspiration. The next key following that, I think, is asking yourself how to improve. Now, improvement doesn't mean winning a trophy. Improvement can mean just becoming more efficient. I think it's very natural to ask yourself how to improve, how to do better or go faster, which leads to experimentation. Imagine you took the basics, base, wash, highlight, and you never went any further. Maybe you paint an army a year and change out the colors in this method, but it's just the same process. Blue dudes, red dudes, maybe a yellow one. But maybe if you used a colored primer, it would be more sensible, right? For your blue dudes, a blue undercoat, and maybe painting that undercoat with an airbrush instead to lay down the highlights. The output is the same, base, wash, highlight, but through small variation, the same person is approaching the idea differently and hopefully improving. That can be a personal definition of what improvement really means. For me, a common phrase I like to throw around, every piece is an experiment. I look at something that I want, and like for example, I want to paint some Nurgle models. I want them to be orange. How can I get there? That's such a simple description, but when you start pulling in, fictional thematics, knowing something about Nurgle, the god of plagues, you're like, okay, things can be runny and drippy, and maybe I want a more textured approach, and maybe if I have this kind of brown, yellow, ochre undercoat, kind of bleeding through everything, if I airbrush over those textures, they will still show through but be tinted in a certain way. Like I've really been playing with the airbrush a lot lately, trying to, weave it in and out of the process, even doing like colored base coats with it. Usually you take a brush and think you have to separate the different items, but it's kind of laying airbrush base coats down on relatively small areas and finding after I go in and do a little highlighting cleanup work that it really doesn't matter. And you're submerging things under washes in a lot of these situations. I'm always experimenting and running at something. These models belong to the Warhammer Quest Darkwater set, and it's like the third painting session I've had with this group of models. The first model being Gelgus Pust, where I came to this idea of the using a colored zenithal undercoat. It's not a new idea, but I decided to try the idea. And leaving like the bottom third of the model out, using the airbrush to create shadows. Then I moved on to the heroes, and I'm working from a more colorful undercoat. It moves through 2 stages of blue before I start applying colors, so the heroes look more lively. They're lawful good forces. And now I get on to these, I think they're Rotswords in the larger game. Lovely round figures. And yeah, I'm going with an analogous, I think that's how you say that, color scheme. That just means you've taken colors that are all touching each other on the color wheel, basically, taking a half of that wheel. But all these models belong to the same set. The resulting paint jobs belong together, yet they were all created slightly differently. And I'm still playing with the method and experimenting, changing tones. Like I said, you look at a project and create so many question marks around it. Creating variations on a theme within the army, variations on how I'm arriving to what I can call a completed model. As someone who's been doing this for a lifetime, someone who hasn't had a regular job for 15 years now, it's getting close. I'm not very nostalgic in that way, writing down dates. My models are kind of my journal. But yeah, I just had that occurring thought, and I have to admit it was inspired by a somewhat recent 52 miniatures video. Alex was noticing that he's more under the influence versus being his own personal guide. And it's a good question to ask yourself. I like to say you want to create your own wake instead of swimming in someone else's. And as now I look back at well over a decade of trying to run up this mountain and create something I think is good, always asking myself how I can improve, working to a variety in the form of creating armies and kit bashes and skirmish forces and masterwork award-winning pieces. It's always been a little different. And I think that is what has truly kept me going. I don't think I would make it in the regular world. I wasn't before I worked at like a tattoo shop and then bridged into a professional miniature painting career. I finally found something that was so multifaceted that it felt different every time. And that it really has kept my interest. Very rare have there been times when I look at something and I say, oh, this again. I have painted the same model I've done more than one Mortarion. Was a little annoying, yet I still, I don't know, I enjoyed facing that fear. And all my time and experience, of course, there's always going to be one little exception to my philosophies and methods, but those philosophies and methods were being developed over the last, we'll just keep saying 15 years about it. So as we start the new year and you have this fresh set of months to unpack and all these goals and ambitions, I want you to be real with yourself and ask yourself where the fun truly lies. And I think in grasping that enjoyment, that is how you're going to end up producing your best work, which is your most favored work, right? The thing that you love the most is going to be your best. So I hope that this rambling, slightly caffeinated fireside talk served to get the gears turning and some inspiration. Even the video itself is me running at a creative process differently, making a different style of video. I wanted to make a kind of a long form speech that you can sit and listen to, and it puts gas in your miniature painting tank. And just took this footage over the weekend and thought it'd be nice to overlay it. So let me know what you think. I can see in the future making, I will, if I do this, if I will, so many questions, but I think a PDF accessory would be nice to have a little, just a series of photos and brief descriptions of the process when I approach something tabletop like this. When I do the high level stuff, making a PDF for an entire model is like writing, it's a book. Think of the amount of steps and stages. I feel like something like this is about 10 stages, if I loosely guess. So yeah, the video itself is me creating question marks around a part of my creative process. The video making has been part of it, and you have been part of it. So thanks. Let me know how you feel in the comment section down below. Please share any thoughts that you'd like me to expand on if you have any questions. I really enjoy having those personal conversations with people, and I've found that I do have a lot of experience in this, but I'm not one to just get out and brag. I don't want it to become this like, I did this and then I did that. That personally makes me cringe. So I put those curiosities that people may have to the side. So if there's anything that you'd like me to ask or expand on, maybe there's an old project or something, yeah. The mind is always working as it is painting. So until we meet again, my friends, I'm not going to clap my hands because I have a cup of coffee in my hands. That'd be crazy. Remain unchained. Cheers.